I'm Owen McGee, financial planner and advisor. I've enlisted 3 of the country's most tenacious consumer journalists, Conor Pope, Siobhan Maguire and Amy Malloy, to fight the fight for unhappy Irish consumers who feel they've been unfairly treated. Tonight, Conor Pope gets under the bonnet of an engine story.
You put in them symptoms and it basically flashes up at you. Engine failure imminent.
Siobhan Maguire unravels the story of the missing online shopping returns.
I received an email. It was from their fraud investigations department.
And Amy Malloy answers a refund SOS from a former cabin crew member.
Having 4 kids, that's just too much money to walk away from.
This is the Complaints Bureau. Conor, Amy, Siobhan, here we go again. Conor, you're heading to Dundalk to meet James. He wants to talk to you about a problem he has with his Land Rover engine. Siobhan, it's scary for you to meet Michelle. She bought some dresses online, she returned them, and now she's been denied a refund. And Amy, Mum and daughter are looking for your help with their cancelled Aer Lingus flights to Paris. Guys, it's not a competition, but it is. Go forth and do good. So you're travelling home on a busy motorway in torrential rain with your young daughter sitting in the back seat. As the trucks plough on, a light suddenly flashes up to say your oil level is critically low. Your car then starts to rapidly slow down before coming to a complete stop. James Dullahan's partner Aisling was at the wheel of their diesel Land Rover Discovery when that event occurred. In May 2021, James, who lives in Uri but works in Dundalk, traded in his Discovery Sport for a 2018 2-litre diesel Land Rover Discovery. His new vehicle had been fully maintained to the manufacturer's requirements, had always been serviced in Land Rover garages, and had mileage of just 28,000 miles. It also contained a 2-litre ingenium diesel engine that our story will be focusing on.
The car was 40,000 sterling.
So a lot of money.
A lot of money, yeah, a lot of money.
And when did you first start noticing problems?
Well, we took it to have it serviced in around February 2022. A few months after service, we would have started to notice it just didn't sound right. There was a real throaty noise coming out of it that wasn't normal. Then you had oil consumption. It was drinking oil. And then you had stalling in reverse, which we put in reverse, it literally cut out.
Searching for information online, James discovered that many other Land Rover Discovery owners whose vehicles had the ingenium 2-litre diesel engine had also encountered similar issues.
You put in them symptoms and it basically flashes up at you. Engine failure imminent.
Oh God.
In July 2023, James's partner Aisling was returning from Belfast with their young daughters.
A Saturday night they were coming home, there was torrential rain and she was in the outside lane and we got our flashing orange light. Oil critically low. Now you bear in mind there's lorries and everything. Torrential rain and this thing
just... Oh my God, the worst possible time. So you had it stalled in the fast lane?
No, it doesn't do that. It goes slow and then stops and then won't turn over
at all.
That's
incredibly dangerous.
Incredible.
With only 50,844 miles and a perfect Land Rover service history, James's Discovery now needed a whole new engine. In July 2023, it was 27 months post-warranty, but online, James had discovered that Land Rover had been contributing towards the repair costs of customers in similar situations.
Everybody's getting 60, 80, 100% contributions towards their new engines, and they get back to me with 20%.
Okay.
With online accounts suggesting that customers getting 60 to 100% contributions had similar mileage and similar warranty issues as James, he challenged Land Rover on their 20% contribution. But the company held firm and James was left with a bill of £11,183.
What would you like us to ask Land Rover for?
I just wanted to own up to it and kind of, the money back would be great.
First, I want to contact the Land Rover and see if it's happy with the manner in which James has been treated. I also want to talk to maybe a mechanic or other people in this area. I think we need to build a more complete picture of exactly what's going on here. that James told us is not an isolated incident.
An oil pressure issue comes out on the dashboard, closely followed by engine cut out completely.
James Dullahan was angry with the way Land Rover dealt with his claim regarding the failure of the 2-litre ingenium diesel engine in his Discovery vehicle. But as Connor is finding out, he's not the only Land Rover Discovery driver to experience these issues.
A simple Google search throws up countless matches of people who've had problems with this particular engine. And I also came across a Facebook group that has more than 2,000 members. So it's very clear that the story that James told us is not an isolated incident.
Connor has discovered that class action cases in England, Wales and Australia are pending against Jaguar Land Rover around similar issues to James's, something he references in his email to the company. While waiting for a response, Connor checks in with mechanic Sean McKeown, who, through his work on many Discovery vehicles, has become familiar with the 2-litre ingenium diesel engine, and not in a good way.
To the back of the engine you have your turbocharger, closely followed by your diesel particulate filter, the DPF. It's on all diesel cars nowadays, and they can give a lot of trouble. They don't like doing short runs around the town. Other vehicles that are doing the same driving, they may give issues, but none as catastrophic as the Land Rover.
Catastrophic is a big word. What do you mean by that?
When we say catastrophic engine failure, that engine is typically scrap and only fit to be thrown out.
And is that happening frequently
Yes.
with these engines?
We see probably more Land Rovers here than most independent garages would. Reason being, we do wintering calibrations. When it comes to these engines, over 50% of them, I've wrote down in the notes saying, engine attention needed, there is an audible noise, and that is happening in at least 50% of them.
50%.
Exceptionally high.
So James mentioned that when the car stopped working,
Yes.
there was a problem with the oil. What was the issue? And what were the real concerns about something like that?
An oil pressure issue comes up on the dashboard, closely followed by engine cut out completely. Very dangerous position to put anyone in. Not only you've lost all engine power, the engine controls the brake assist. So now all of a sudden, the brakes will take twice or 3 times the effort to apply that they would have when the engine's going. And you've lost all of that, moving at approximately 60 or 70 mile an hour.
So it's classified as a catastrophic engine failure, but it
Yes.
could also have been just catastrophic.
Very much so.
Against Jaguar Land Rover in England and Wales.
Our core allegation is that a few of the JLR models contain some defective components. That includes our kind of primary case, which is focused on the DPF. The DPF stands for diesel particulate filter, and what we allege is that there's something wrong with that system. It doesn't work the way it should, and that leads to lots of other issues that can range from warning lights popping off and clients having to drive their car for a certain period of time in order to clear the filter. In its most extreme, it can result in something called limp mode, where the car very suddenly drops to a very low speed, say 10 miles an hour. That's because the DPF filter has got clogged and so full, and the car can no longer operate properly. We've had instances of clients coming to us and saying this has happened on motorways.
Connor's questions for Land Rover were mounting up, and finally yielded a statement from them about reviewing claims from outside their warranty period on a case-by-case basis. Ignoring questions about widely reported problems with the engine, they did refer to James's discovery, saying, although the vehicle in question was brought to us significantly outside the period of initial warranty, having been purchased outside of our retailer network with no extended warranty, a goodwill gesture was provided by JLR to support the cost of repair. Setting aside the similar cases where customers had received up to 100% of the repair costs, Connor went back to the company on the other important questions he had raised. After again receiving unsatisfactory responses, he posed them one final simple question.
We just said to them, straight up, are you happy that an engine that has just over 50,000 miles on the clock has a full service history and has been driven by a person who's a very long-standing Land Rover customer should fail in the catastrophic manner that it failed for you? I'm sad to say that as I'm talking to you now, they still haven't answered that single question.
They can't answer, because if they answer it and they admit that there is something wrong with that car, they will have to pay thousands.
And we highlighted issues with cars all over the world. We highlighted the fact that there was a Facebook forum that has thousands of members
Same exact
reporting
situation.
the same issues as you. At no point, I believe, did Jaguar Land Rover address those questions in a serious and substantial way. I'm disappointed that we didn't get you any financial redress, but at least I think you have done us some service by highlighting the issue.